A quote from Bob Marley: "The greatness of a person is not in how much wealth they acquire, but in their ability to affect those around them positively." Welcome back to the legacy series that we're in. We just finished Your Legacy, and we talked about a great trait for leaving a legacy, both for now and in the future. And the trait that we talked about last podcast was kindness. And today we're going to get into another one. And I'm coming from the messy front lines right now to drop you this podcast, kind of like Mr. Rogers. I'm going to take my jacket off after a long day of work. So I'm coming from the messy front lines. I'm a certified emergency and mental health registered nurse on the front lines for many years and still going. And once again, that quote is: "The greatness of a person is not in how much wealth they acquire, but in their ability to affect those around them positively." Do you affect those around you positively? We're going to work on this trait today. A new trait today is going to be integrity. And another quote that I saw was, "Always do good. It comes back to you in unexpected ways. Believe it." And I found that on social media by someone named Mr. T. So always do good. It comes back to you in unexpected ways. Believe it. So let's jump into today's podcast on the legacy series. And we did kindness, and now we're going to work on integrity. That's something that we all can enjoy working on better for our lives, to spill on to the lives of those around us. So we're going to get into some inspirational media, and then some important and wise scripture verses, and then some bonus material from my devotionals. And at the end, there's always a prize, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute. So let's jump in right now. What is the meaning of integrity? And the first one is from a site called Accountable to You. And what is the meaning of integrity by Scott Chadwick? What is integrity? Although we often hear this word used in personal and professional contexts, its meaning can be tricky to sum up. So here is a practical definition and some helpful examples of integrity in action. Make sure you follow and like and share this as we go, and leave your comments on how you feel about how you see integrity in action in your own life and in the lives of those around you, and how you think it can be helpful in just leaving a legacy for here and in the future. Integrity can be defined as aligning your conduct with what you know to be excellent. A person of integrity displays a principled dedication to values and beliefs. They always seek to reflect ethical standards and do the right thing regardless of the circumstances. And yes, I think of the definition too of integrity is what we do when no one's watching. And I know they said that we always do it here, but you know that we don't always live up to the traits and the standards and the character traits that we want, but this is definitely something we can work on. So maybe one day we will be able to say that we always do that. That's part of integrity. And I know I have work to do on that, and I'm sure we can work on this together. So make sure you follow and like if you would be so kind. And so the attributes of integrity: the convictions of a person of integrity determine what they will say and do at any given time. They intentionally direct their conduct according to their understanding of what is right and wrong. And that's a good point. So directing our conduct according to our understanding of what is right and wrong. And how do we fill our minds with an understanding of what is right and wrong? Of course, we can definitely pray and get in the Word, and we're going to get a lot of wisdom, especially from the book of Proverbs. It's so helpful for guiding us towards wisdom and integrity. And watching the examples of those that we honor and trust that also live lives of integrity, that can help us. And of course, striving to do the right thing even when no one's watching. So authenticity marks the heart of integrity. I love authenticity. I think it's so beautiful. such a wonderful thing to have and to work on, even though a lot of times people or society or even your own mind tries to stick you in a box where you feel like you can't be your own authentic self. And of course, we do need boundaries to have protection about what we say and what we share and how we live, but we can strive to live more authentically, sharing our true story, and that's what helps other people actually heal and feel vulnerable themselves without being worried about it. So authenticity marks the heart of integrity. Their internal character remains consistent regardless of external conditions. Do you ever feel like you're pushed into certain decisions based on what's going on around you, what's promoted in media and culture around you, that you feel is leading you towards doing something that you may look back and feel like it wasn't the best choice for integrity? Integrity includes the quality of being honest, but honesty does not always demonstrate integrity. The difference is the inner commitment to being trustworthy, an inner commitment to being trustworthy. We can all strive for that. Inner commitment to being trustworthy and communicating the truth without deception. An integrated person lives without duplicity and hypocrisy. I know sometimes we may feel this, or we may see others feel like they need to not be totally honest in order to get their own way or to get ahead. But at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, can you really look yourself in the mirror and know that you feel like you've lived with integrity and not tried to take advantage of another person? I feel like that's one of the best feelings next to a relationship with God and your loved ones is, and part of it, it's integrated, is living with integrity so you can sleep well at night, sleep in peace, look yourself in the mirror, look others in the eye, knowing that you haven't tried to con, cheat, dupe, manipulate, or trick someone for your own short-lived benefit. So a person of integrity does not claim to be perfect. Instead, they are quick to acknowledge their own mistakes and faults. Their sincerity comes from pure motivation to do what is right, even when it might be inconvenient. Do you ever do what's right when it's inconvenient? Leave that in the comments, please. Times of crisis particularly test a person's integrity. What would it take for you to compromise your resolve to do what you believe is right? And we're going to finish this article and then jump onto the scripture and the bonus material. But let me tell you at the end, the prize that I always do, it's a quick, short, action-packed chapter of my published fictional drama where you get to ride along with the frontline workers rescuing those in crisis. And it's 24/7 action. You're going to feel like you're right there riding along with the danger, action, suspense, romance, faith, and inspiration. We'll get into that soon. And we're almost at the end of book 3. It's so exciting, which is called The Mental Files, A Tent Under the Bridge. So why is integrity important? Getting back to this. Living a life of integrity is important for several reasons. Your conduct reflects your character and builds your reputation. Integrity inhibits moral failure due to compromise or cheating. It shows that you have nothing to hide. Yes, we can live lives and be open books. And as I said, we do have boundaries. We're not going to spill all of our family secrets, our personal secrets. But if we're living with honesty, integrity, overall, we do live with that open book lifestyle, and which actually can help draw others to want to do the same and to trust you. And it's just good for everything. It shows you have nothing to hide, that if revealed would bring shame or reproach upon you. And yes, we all have things in our past and even sometimes in our current that we feel is shameful and we don't want people to see. But we can work on doing better, getting that therapy, that healing, self-introspection and prayer for that, to come out of that. You don't have to live in shame. By committing to live based on excellent principles, you provide an example for others to follow. And that's really what this series right now is about. It's your example. It's not so much, the quote last time was, is not what others say about you, but how they live, how they start to live because of the example that you provided. And that's integrity. That's a legacy that we're leaving now for those around us, for our family, and just for future generations. So it's important. You provide that example for others to follow. You also have a basis for open communication with others because they trust you. Do you want to be trusted? Your relationships can prosper based on honesty and forthrightness. You can make decisions much more easily because you have already determined to do what is excellent and therefore eliminated all the other alternatives. Acting with integrity gives you peace of mind. This is true. And knowing you did the right thing regardless of the outcome. Examples of integrity. Why don't, instead of me going over the list, you leave some examples of integrity here in the comments. What is the opposite of integrity? A good antonym for integrity is hypocrisy. A person is hypocritical when they pretend to be something they're not. Believe something they do not believe, or value something they do not value. Their words and actions do not align with their true values and beliefs. They're playing the part of someone they're not. Hypocrisy hurts since it originates from a lie. In normal circumstances, such duplicity is deceptive. It presents as inconsistent and an insincere picture of who that person honestly is. Why would someone do this? What do you think? Perhaps they want to make others think better of them than they ought to think. Maybe they want to cover the truth from others so they can avoid embarrassment or shame. And as I said, we can work on things that do cause that embarrassment and shame. We can work on having a better life of integrity. Whatever the reason, hypocrisy hurts since it originates from a lie. If you recognize that you are hypocritical about something, stop and ask yourself, what is it that you want to accomplish in that situation? Are your desires in line with what you value and believe to be good and right? Maybe you need to grow in your understanding and commitment to good values and true beliefs. Kind of looks like I'm conducting an orchestra now. Or perhaps it is your outward conduct that needs to change. Choose to live in integrity by clarifying your values and beliefs. Evaluate your words and actions to see what needs to change so you can more consistently express those inner commitments. And to wind it up, and then we'll move on, they wind it up with choose wisely. So what is integrity? It means aligning your conduct with what you know to be excellent, because you are responsible for your conduct. You're also responsible for your integrity. And of course, teaching that to our family and others. Choose your words and actions to be consistent with your values and beliefs. So we're going to jump into some great scripture verses about that. And then we're going to have some bonus material from a couple of my devotionals and quickly jump into the prize at the end. If you've been following along, even if you haven't, everyone get a drink of water first. So healthy for you, your Nurse Ann tip. But even if you haven't been following along yet, you can go to my website, nurseann.com. You'll see it in the description, nurseann.com. That's Ann with an E. And you can follow along on the podcast and hear the series from the beginning, or skip around whichever topic you want to hear about. I have topics about emotional resilience, mental strength, breaking out of our comfort zones and our boxes, having strength when we've been through difficulties, having, you know what, there's so much. Just go to nurseann.com, look at the podcast and the YouTube channel, and you can scroll up and down. And if you want, you can hear it from the beginning, but I'll tell you how you can join this book club and hear it from the beginning anyway. So some of the verses that were helpful, verses about integrity from openbible.info. Proverbs 10:9. Proverbs is really good. It's really the book of wisdom and integrity, and it teaches us how to make decisions in everything that you can think of, your finances, your relationships, your work ethic. It's literally Proverbs. The book of Proverbs is full of all types of wisdom, and there's 31 chapters. So if you think about it, for each day of the month, you could read that whole chapter or some verses from that chapter, and you'll never glean all the understanding, wisdom, and insight your entire life. You can just keep reading that over and over, and you're going to catch some new epiphany each time to really help you and shine the light on what's going on in your own life. I love the book of Proverbs. You will too. Proverbs 10:9. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever makes their way crooked will be found out. Proverbs 11:3. The integrity of the upright guides them, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them. We don't want to be treacherous or destroyed, do we? No, no, no. Proverbs 28:6. Better is a poor person who walks in their integrity than a rich person who is crooked in their ways. Proverbs 20:7. The righteous who walk in their integrity, blessed are their children after them. Proverbs 19:1. Better is a poor person who walks in their integrity than one who is crooked in speech and is a fool. Do you want to be called a fool by God? I don't. 1 Peter 3:16. Having a good conscience, so that when you are slandered, lied about, gossiped about, when you're slandered, those who revile or talk bad or make fun of your good behavior, they'll probably be put to shame in the end because you're choosing integrity and doing what's right. Philippians 4:8. This is a really great one that helps sum up this whole idea also. Finally, whatever is true, honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there's anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Colossians 3:23, whatever you do, work heartily as for God and not for people. And that just reminds us, even at work or whatever work situation, at home, in the community, if we're doing it with integrity and for God, then it's we're not just worried about what people think and trying to get by or slide by. Psalm 25:21, may integrity and uprightness preserve me, for I wait for you. Titus 2:7, show yourself in all respects to be a model and example of good works, and in your teaching show integrity and dignity. Psalm 26:1 of David, vindicate me, O Lord, for I have walked in my integrity, and I have trusted in God without wavering. Hebrews 13:18, pray for us, for we're sure that we have a clear conscience, desiring to act honorably in all things. Psalm 41:12, but you have upheld me because of my integrity, set me in your presence forever. Acts 24:16, I always take pains to have a clear conscience toward God and others. Micah 6:8, he has told you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God. So I'm going to stop right there on the verses, and we're going to jump into some bonus material from my published devotionals, and there is a link at the website for those. And I have the mental healing poetry devotional. We all need help with our mental healing, whether it's trauma healing, mental healing in general. We all struggle with anxiety and mental battles. And so there's a lot of very heartfelt poems from my own life and from what I see, the struggles that people go through on the front lines of emergency and mental health and in the world at large. So the mental healing poetry devotional. I did not pick one from there today, but I did want to show you. And also the newest is the Ignite Life Poetry Devotional. As you go, dare to bless, inspire and bless everyone in your path. There's a lot of life stories that we encounter every day that are filled with struggle, joy, triumph, sorrow, defeat, and everything in between. So I talked about a lot of things that people go through, that we go through, you go through in the world at large. Deep and serious topics and subjects are covered in here. And then they're in poem format and a devotional to kind of give us some inspiration and insight on that. And I also have my Energized Health, Body, Mind, and Spirit. And the words that I chose to go from today are the Word Puzzles Devotional and the Inspiration Battles Devotional. Biblical Medicine for Real Life, along with Soul Searching with a Dose of Encouragement by Nurse Ann. Hopefully your favorite nurse and new indie author. Please follow this channel, share it with others who need mental healing, courage to break out of boxes, and just advocacy and awareness and so much more, along with that fun published fictional drama that we're going to read in a minute. So the one I picked today, this is an A to Z devotional. I picked from the letter M. It's not Sesame Street, but it's the letter M, and it's from the word maturity. And this goes along with making those decisions filled with integrity. So maturity. Maturity is evidenced by what we do and say, and even by what we don't say, and what we choose to hold back from. Our chronological age is not a guarantee for wise choices. Maturity is not learned from a stack of books, although it can help us learn principles. However, we can set an example for others to follow when we choose words and actions derived from a heart of love, faith, and purity. God tells us that when we walk in maturity, we'll remain grounded in truth and not be easily deceived and led astray. We'll begin to speak truth and demonstrate deeds that look like agape love in action. When we speak true wisdom gleaned from our Father's teachings, it might confuse those that are still walking in childish ways. And when God can trust us, trust you, to make the hard choices consistently, He will reveal even deeper truths and revelations that were previously hidden from your understanding. Therefore, try not to worry about what you might be missing out on by passing over foolish pursuits. Instead, stay on that steady course and reap the fruit of a God-centered life. This is so important, and that's again from my Inspiration Battles devotional. One more, and then we're going to the bonus and the prize. Hang on, hang in there. Get another drink of water. You know you need some. Right. So, Word Puzzles Devotional by Nurse Ann. It's interesting words linked to your everyday life and inner thought struggles, along with relevant biblical prescriptions. I want you to get your dose. And there's wisdom and inspiration, overcome and thrive, hope and new light for your life journey. And guess what else is in here? Medicine for your soul. Do you need soul medicine? I think we all need some of that, along with that mental healing. So today I chose one. I tried to pick out just different or interesting or unique words for this Word Puzzles devotional. So the word today is from the letter K, and it's knavery. What does that mean? It means this is not something we want to describe us. No, knavery, untrustworthy, dishonest dealing, and trickery. I hope that you're not described like that. And I know some aspects of culture you might be looked upon as the man, the person, cool if you're getting over on people. But that's really gross if you think about it. That's not walking with integrity, to be untrustworthy and dishonest, even if you get some short-term dopamine fixes or short-term gains. It's not going to work out for you in the long run. So the game of life offers endless opportunities for shortcuts to attain the so-called prize. Tax return adjustments, showing you the flowers again. Tax return adjustments, obtaining answers for an exam, hanging out while coworkers do all the labor. Ooh. discounted wares from an unsavory vendor, tricking the naive out of something you want for yourself. Overcharging and many more schemes are there to entice with empty promises. Biblical examples of overcharging tax collectors, brothers scheming for an inheritance, women who were fighting over who was the best mother, and on it goes. What are some examples? Can you leave in the comments where you see others being dishonest, trying to trick others to get so-called ahead? We may secure material perks and advantages through these deceptive routes. At what cost? We're cautioned in Mark 8:36 that we may gain everything this world has to offer, but in the process, lose our very soul. No bueno. Think about it, your soul. No way. You only get one. Guard your priceless treasure. Walk with integrity. Even God warns in Proverbs 11 that he hates dishonest measures, but he does delight in honorable lives. So make your choice. And that was maturity from my word puzzles devotional. Link on the website. So done. We've come to the bonus and the prize. And I'm going to show you what that is. And then we're going to quickly read it. It's in my free time. As a busy nurse on the front lines of emergency and mental health, I created this 6-part drama series, and it highlights the struggles that people go through in the system, in your life, in your family's life, in the community, the church, the families. You're going to see the frontline workers and also see their own relationship drama and their thought battles. But each story highlights a couple different mental health and emergency struggles, and then you see the frontline workers in the community rescuing them. You're going to see what they go through in the emergency room, the hospital, the community, the church, and the family. So we finished Sheep Among Wolves, and we also finished Dr. John Doe. We've talked about thought disorders, hallucinations, addictions, relapse, anxiety, dementia, Alzheimer's already. And now we're on the mental files, A Tent Under the Bridge. We get into homelessness and why she's living homeless, and just a lot of other thought disorders and struggles in there, along with crime and danger. So we're about to jump into this, and we're almost at the end of this book. It's getting really exciting. Then we go to Defenders of the Week. We talk about anxiety, bullying, and see how people help each other through that in the community. And then Ready, Willing, and Able, we talk about disabilities, autism, spectrum, how people can be the actual heroes in everyone. No matter what label or limitation you have, there's always some way for you to shine and be a superhero in your life and the lives of others. And then the season finale is Out of Control. We talk about relapse, addiction. It's the culmination of the relationships. It's very exciting. We talk about entitled people, entitled patients. And the reason I call it the season finale, with your help, it's going to be a television drama series one day. So I'm about to get into that, but it is in one book to make it almost free. And it's the Mental Files First 6 Stories by Nurse Ann. If you want to read this and join along, you can also hear them on the podcast for free. And even more exciting, I had it made into an audiobook. This is what it looks like on Audible and iTunes. It's the Mental Files First 6 Stories edition by Nurse Ann. This was narrated by Drama Simpson, and he did such an amazing job. He brought it to life with siren noises, action noises, different character voices. You really feel like you're right there in the action of a movie or a television drama series. So check that out on Audible and iTunes, the Mental Files First 6 Stories edition. It is full of action, adventure, along with advocacy and awareness. You're going to love it. And please leave a review when you go there. So let's jump into the season finale, then I'll let you go. We all have things to do, other videos to watch. So the Mental Files, A Tent Under the Bridge. If you want to hear what happened, you just have to scroll back through the other podcasts. You can even start from the beginning on my website, nurseann.com, on the podcast tab. You can just start from the beginning or just get the audiobook, whatever you want to do. Chapter 22 is Back to the Emergency Room. As Maria and her new partner approached Abigail, they asked her what was going on. Trying to whisper, so Julie would not contemplate running away again, Abigail told them all she knew. When did she last have her medicines? Asked the seasoned paramedic leader, breaking down in tears for not taking care of her daughter. Abigail was unable to provide an answer. Mars, who is the other paramedic, quietly walked toward the other end of the dumpster that the frightened psychotic girl was hiding behind. As he made his way over, the group noticed the young woman trying to dart out of her safe harbor. Springing into action, Mars caught her just in time. Maria ran over to help him hold the flailing Julie. "Don't hurt her," pleaded the distraught mother. "And she is expecting my grandchild." With the statement from the lips of her mother, the frightened patient let out a terrifying shriek. Maria's handling of the situation was a great example and teaching moment for her new co-worker. The paramedic gently talked to the young woman and finally coaxed her onto the stretcher. After strapping her in for safety, the EMS team loaded her into the truck. Mars agreed to drive to the ER since Maria displayed a calming presence for Julie in the back. Do you have a calming presence? "Please let me come along," implored the homeless lady. "You can ride up front if you can remain in control," he offered. As the truck rolled their patient into the ER, the triage nurse directed them straight to the psych room. Maria gave a report to Nurse Kylina, and the paramedics headed on to their next call. As they left, Mars urged Kylina to call Lita to see if she was aware of the situation. And that's the end of that chapter. Next is chapter 23, Lost and Found. And you'll have to tune into the next nurseann.com podcast for that. I'm going to let you go now. Please follow this channel, like it, share it with others, and leave your comments today of examples of integrity. I hope to see you next time.